SNP MP wails as Jeremy Corbyn allows hard Brexit to steamroller ahead. An SNP MP has raged at Jeremy Corbyn and blamed the Labour Party leader for allowing a hard Brexit to unfold in the UK. Brendan O'Hara, the MP for Argyll and Bute, insisted Jeremy Corbyn was to blame for Britain leaving the single market and customs union as it leaves the EU. Speaking on BBC Radio 5 Live, the SNP politician claimed that the Labour Party would have been able to stop a hard Brexit if it had got its act together. He said, "I think the parliamentary arithmetic could be so important if Labour had got their act together." When Chuka Umunna put his United Kingdom remaining within the single market amendment, just at the end of June, the entire SNP voted for it because we believed in it. But Chuka could only get 50 of his own colleagues to vote for it. I believe if we were given a free vote, there's enough support on the Labour benches. On the SNP benches, I believe there are enough soft conservatives to make a difference to this. The problem is, Jeremy Corbyn is just steamrollering ahead, allowing this hard Brexit to happen. Mr Umunna's amendment to the Queen's speech was overwhelmingly voted against as many Labour MP abstained from the vote in June. The amendment would have kept the United Kingdom in the single market after Britain had fully cut ties with Brussels. Mr Umunna admitted that the Labour Party's stance over Brexit was frustrating for him as he wanted to oppose the Conservatives' plans to pull the UK out of the single market. The Labour leader Mr Corbyn has historically been keen to pull the UK out of the EU despite campaigning to remain in the lead up to the EU referendum. The Conservatives and Labour Party both went into the general election in June promising to pull the UK out of the single market and customs union after Brexit. Today the UK government said that it would not necessary or appropriate for the European Court of Justice to continue having a direct say in Britain after Brexit. Taking back control of British laws and sovereignty was a major factor for those who voted for Brexit in the referendum in 2016. Theresa May said, "What is absolutely clear, as I made clear in that speech I've made, when we leave the European Union, we will leave the jurisdiction of the European Court of Justice. What we will be able to do is to make our own laws. Parliament will make our laws. It is British judges who will interpret those laws and the British Supreme Court that will be the ultimate arbiter of those laws. We will take back control of our laws." The comments from the Prime Minister came after fears were raised suggesting the UK would not fully cut ties with European courts after Brexit. Speaking to BBC Radio 4's Today programme, Justice Minister Dominic Raab suggested the UK will not entirely break away from the ECJ. He said, "Our commitment as a government since the referendum has been crystal clear. We're ending the jurisdiction of the European Court over disputes between the EU and the UK. That's not on the table, but look, let's also be clear about it. When we leave the EU, we are taking back control over our laws. There will be a divergence between the case law of the EU and the UK, and it is precisely because there will be that divergence as we take back control that it makes sense for the UK to keep half an eye on the case law of the EU, and for the EU to keep half an eye on the case law of the UK." Thanks for watching. Please like, share and don't forget to subscribe English News Hub for new excited videos.